All right, Shalom. There's a brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwat who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. All right, today I want to go into a lesson through the Spirit on a video that the beloved brother Azaria sent in the chat yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. All right, and I want to cover this through the Spirit because, again, we're in a time of prophecy. All right, before I get the video, I want to read this precept. All right, this is Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. And it reads, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." All right, so I want to get this video through the Spirit. We'll play a few minutes of it, and then I want to play another video through the Spirit. All right, Lord willing, this is edifying.
Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every bottle of fine wine, every collectible car, every piece of real estate, every private business, everything of value in the world will eventually be a token.
In today's fast-changing digital world, an alarming revelation has come to light that could disrupt the traditional financial system we are familiar with. An anonymous insider has claimed that the gradual elimination of cash, the physical currency that has been the backbone of economies for centuries, is paving the way for a society that operates without cash. This disclosure has sparked a heated debate and raised plenty of questions about the driving forces of this shift and the effect it could have on our lives, economies, and the global financial ecosystem. The rapid disappearance of cash is not a rumor or a distant future scenario. It's happening right under our noses. Imagine you walk into your local bank expecting to withdraw cash or deposit a check, only to meet blank stares and digital screens. That's the reality for customers of a major Australian bank, Mirror Bank, which has decided to ditch cash entirely and go full throttle digital. No more cash, no more checkbooks. This move isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a broader trend reshaping the banking sector worldwide. But why the sudden dislike for cash? According to the authorities, the key factors are convenience, efficiency, and safety. Experts praise digital banking as the height of.
So one of the things that they mentioned, right, was safety. Because again, under the idea of safety, many people are going to be destroyed, man. All right, they're going to fall victim to this whole scheme. All right, and I want to get a video through the Spirit before we continue. Before I do that, this is First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3. It says, "For when," you know what, let's start at 2. It says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." All right, because it's all intentional. All right. As a matter of fact, before I continue, let me get this video. You know, brothers who have been in this for a little while, you've probably seen this video before, but for someone who may not have seen it, this is the director of Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. It's an older movie, good movie, very spiritual. This guy has since passed away, but he has some very peculiar statements for those who haven't heard this conversation before. All right, and this was, I want to see if they got the year. Now they don't have the year on here, but it's an Alex Jones interview. It's an old interview. All right, Lord willing, while I'm playing it, I'll see if I can get some more information on it.
You got 30% of the vote. You were having an effect. You made mad as hell. They knew that you'd started the Constitution Party. Yeah. They knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done. You'd already made some big films, had a lot of other successes.
Right.
So they were trying to recruit you. And didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us. You know, this guy's don't touch.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process, and then what he said.
Well, what it is remember we were friends, and we used to come to my house a lot. We'd have dinner, we'd talk, and he'd tell me about business investments that he get involved in, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And just stuff, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, your ways and my ways, we're on the opposite side of the fence. I don't believe in enslaving people, and
he would come back with, "Oh, I do."
Well, it would be more like,
it's better for them.
It's more like, how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
So there you have it. I believe this interview, if I'm correct, one of these articles says it's around 2009, but it does say that he died in 2007. So they may have released it in 2009. Either way, this is from a long time ago. But what he said was important through the spirit, because he mentioned that Nick Rockefeller told him the goal was to have everybody chill, to control the whole society. And now as we fast forward to 2024, you have videos like this where you have financial advisors and people in the finance industry saying that everything is going to be tokenized. That's why you have a big boom in crypto. The snare of crypto is that they let it stay unregulated long enough for people to get scammed so that people would beg for regulation. And what's going to end up happening is it's just going to be government regulated, and then it's going to become mandatory. It's just going to be outdated. It reminds me of for brothers who are older, there's a point where you didn't have chips in your car. But then if you just kept that car without a chip, your car just stopped working. And they would send you one in the mail. If you didn't activate it, they would send another one. But you couldn't use the current car that you had. Something like that is going to come down the pipeline. That's why Revelation, the 13th chapter, again, reads. Let's go here. Revelation 13 and 16. You know what? Let me start at 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, when you look at this word killed, all right, when you deal with this word killed, I'm going to deal with G615, apokteno, all right? It says this, to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, metaphor to extinguish, abolish, to inflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life, and procure eternal misery in hell. We're not dealing with that. But I want to go here to the root, all right? When you go to the root of it, it's apo or apo, and it says of separation, all right? Because if you don't have the ability to access the grid for digital currency, and everything is now cashless, you're separated from the system. This is a part of the kill. Now they're gonna persecute, and it's gonna be mortal persecution, but there's also going to be a separation from the system. This is why it's considered the hour of temptation. So we saw Aaron Russo in a conversation with Alex Jones around 2007, talking about how the Rockefellers, the goal in mind was to have everybody chipped. And now in 2024, this video was one day ago. All right, you're starting to see all of these pieces come together. Remember, Aaron Russo they were trying to recruit him to be inside of this whole project, which means it was more than just Nick Rockefeller. This is a whole conversation. No matter how far-fetched it sounds to the average person, look at where we are. Look at that conversation that happened in 2007, and then look at where we are now.
Contemporary finance, commended for its speed, security, and unparalleled convenience. Just tap, swipe, or click, and your money magically zips across cyberspace to its destination. No more fumbling with crumpled bills or worrying about counterfeit notes. It's the future, they say, and resistance is futile. However, this narrative is more complex than it seems. Behind this cover of convenience, there is a darker agenda, one of control, surveillance, and yes, enslavement.
Why did no one tell Florida?
So we just heard it, right? Because he's saying the darker, the behind the scenes is control, right? But Aaron Russo was saying that Rockefeller was telling him this behind closed doors. And I believe that Aaron Russo died shortly after that interview, which is why the timeline is so close together. But it's beautiful through the spirit because, again, the Lord said this first and foremost. All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 1 and 5. It says, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. As a matter of fact, we got to get this. This is Ezekiel 33 and 32. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice, and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Because our apostles and elders have been talking about this since it was only seen in science fiction movies. You know, when our apostles began talking, the ministry began, and they discussed the mark of the beast and the hour of temptation and what it actually involves. The only time you really saw chips and cashless payments was on Demolition Man. And now we're in the time through the spirit where it's normal to hear them talk about digital currencies. How often do you personally use cash on a day-to-day basis? It shows you that through gradualism, everything is moving in one direction. All right, so let's continue.
Isn't just about embracing shiny new technology. It's about tightening the noose of control around our financial lives. Every transaction you make, every purchase you consider, every dime you spend, all meticulously tracked, monitored, and logged. It's like Big Brother, but with a calculator instead of a camera. And who benefits from this Orwellian nightmare? Certainly not the average Joe or Jane. No, the real winners are the puppet masters pulling the strings from their ivory towers of power. The ultimate goal is complete control by eliminating cash, giving those in power unprecedented sway over our lives. They can monitor our spending patterns, influence our financial choices, and deprive us of our hard-earned wealth instantly. It's a chilling prospect, but one that's becoming increasingly real with each passing day. After a prominent individual from the Reserve Bank made a revelation, it seems that cash may be on its way out. This may seem dramatic, but it's true. Remember Greece's financial nosedive during the Great Recession? During a trial run, an experiment was conducted where depositors' money was used to prop up the banks, leaving them with worthless shares. Surprisingly, there was not much public outcry. However, this bail-in tactic has caught the attention of banks worldwide. Recently, some influential figures in the financial industry have intentionally revealed their plans to create a financial crisis. Confused as to why the rich would play with fire? It's a gamble in which those with even a penny come out on top. During the chaos, assets go on a clearance sale, and the wealthy swoop in, expanding their empires. Brace yourself because markets worldwide are due for a meltdown. Governments will dish out bailouts and digital currency. For the first time in U.S. central...
And this is what you have to understand too. With the elites, they don't mind crashing the dollar because they have assets. When you have assets, the money doesn't necessarily matter when you actually have resources. When you deal with actual riches aren't fiat currency. This is why they can manipulate the currency and force people into this type of system, because they own the actual resources. The fiat currency is a big game, and they're going to crash this game and start a new one where they have more control. All right, that's that whole analogy of the phoenix rising out of the ashes. All right, this is Genesis 13 and 2. All right, I'll start at 1. It says, and Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold, not fiat currency. And see, when you have a system built on fiat currency, you can manipulate it like this. And this is exactly what they're going to do with this system. All right, this is why they're talking about digital tokens and, making everything cashless, moving the system, CBDCs. Why? Because this system is not sustainable. When you think about the debt that people are in, and then you think about the debt of Babylon the Great, which is America, this system is due for a reset. All right. And that reset is going to bring in this digital landscape that if you don't have that CHIP, you don't have a ticket to the admission of that party, and that's why the scriptures describe it as an hour of temptation, because you're not going to be able to access the same necessities. All right. So I'll play a little bit more of this.
Banking history. They'll pump money straight into your pocket. You will feel an intense rush of excitement and happiness, similar to winning the lottery and accompanied by a surge of dopamine. A banker working in the trenches revealed that they were exhausted from the daily grind and desperate for an escape. Meanwhile, the banks are preparing for a cashless revolution. Once everyone is deep in debt, they will offer second mortgages, creating cash out of thin air. It's crucial to be prepared for any sudden shifts in the financial sector. Although the future seems uncertain, there is still hope. We still have the chance to stand up against the rising tide of tyranny and take back our financial freedom from both corporate greed and government overreach. But how can we achieve this? By equipping ourselves with knowledge, raising awareness, and refusing to become mere pawns in their wicked game. What's the plan? First, focus on reducing your debt as much as possible.
All right, so that pretty much hits the point. And I'll fast forward to the statement that the actual banker made, if I can get to it through the spirit. But yeah, see, one thing about these truthers, if you will, is that a lot of the statements that they bring out information, right? But then in the back of it, they always have this plan where they can escape or they can stand up to nah, man, this is going to play out exactly how the Lord wants it to. All right. And nobody can hold that back. All right. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Because it's the Lord's will to use Esau to crash this system. All right. A lot of people are going to catch judgments as the Lord crashes this system. You got to think with the Hegelian dialectic, even with I ain't gonna say the word, but with these crises, real people end up getting judgment in the midst of those things. Esau's a sword, and the Lord uses him, and He's gonna use him to crack this system, to break this system, and a lot of people are gonna receive judgment. So you have guys like this channel, and many other Peter Schiff, all of these guys who bring out this information, but in the back of their mind, the Common Sense Show, in the back of their mind, they're like, look, we're gonna be able to get out of this. No, this is the will of the Lord, man. You ain't getting out of this. It's Isaiah 46:9. It says, remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh Bashemel Shai, and there is none else. I am power, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. And the Lord's pleasure is to take this system down. The Lord is with Esau, bringing in the hour of temptation. All of this is a part of the will of the Lord. So these guys who get on these channels and they bring out this information, but in the back of their mind, they're telling people to go buy gold and, get Bitcoin and get a privatized wallet. None of that is going to stop the judgment of Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. All right, this is Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So buying gold is not going to stop it. If you slated for judgment, none of those things are going to stop it. And at the same time, if you're slated for salvation, none of these things that come upon the earth is going to be able to touch you and get in the way of that salvation if you're of the elect. All right. But these things are going to come to pass. All right. So let me get this one statement that this guy made in his video, if I can. Let's see. Nah. Yeah. So I'll go back to the initial statement that he made in this video, and then I'll go back to Aaron Russo one more time.
Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every bottle of fine wine, every collectible car, every piece of real estate, every private business, everything of value in the world will eventually be a token.
And see, how do you access those tokens? How do you access that system? You're going to have some kind of vehicle. All right. And this is why, they're doing the Fed now, with instant settlement. The CBDCs, they're creating the infrastructure right under everybody's nose. Even when you deal with 5G, the strongest signal is so that those processes can happen at a moment's notice. Because it's not just going to be secluded to the United States. It's going to be a global system, that's why you see all these different nations who are going cashless. India, Australia, I believe Nigeria or Niger, one of those countries are also playing with the digital idea. So this isn't just a local United States phenomenon. All right, this is a global phenomenon. All right, and eventually it's going to be made mandatory. All right, according to prophecy. So I'll end it with the last part of Aaron Russo's interview.
Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
And so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Aqua, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.